Welcome, girls and boys, to our Sunday school class. Christ is risen. Truly, He is risen. Christus elisti, elitos anisti. I was so happy to be with you guys last week, and I'm so happy to be with you guys this week. Hopefully soon we get to see each other in the physical Sunday school. We miss you all. Everybody misses you, and I hope you miss us as well. This week, we are celebrating one of the weeks of the Holy 50 Days. And just like our church has the Lent journey for 7 weeks that ended with Jesus' resurrection, we have now the journey of the 50 days, which is also 7 weeks. And those 7 weeks started with last week when Jesus saw Thomas specifically and personally, and he went in and he showed him all of his piercing in his hands. And it ends with the descending of the Holy Spirit, which is the Pentecost. It's called the Pentecost. So the first week is Thomas Sunday, just as you see on the screen. The second week is the living bread. The third week is the living water. And the fourth week is Jesus as the light of the world. And the fifth week, He is the way, the truth, and life. And the sixth week, He is the source of our peace. And finally, at the end, will be the descending of the Holy Spirit on all of the disciples. Today, just like last week, we're going to have Jesus Christ with us, King of Glory, King of Peace, to join us through this journey. So please welcome Jesus Christ with us.
Peace be with you all. I'm so happy to be with you guys here and to share this journey with you guys.
We are so happy that you're with us today, Jesus, in our Sunday school. I'm sure all of the kids are happy to have you with us.
I'm very happy to be here with them.
So last Sunday, Jesus, you talked about Thomas, and that even that he doubted, you still loved him.
Of course.
You still appeared to him personally, and you still showed yourself to him. And you left us that we always have to have faith in you and believe in you, and that you're going to always be around us.
Yes.
So this week, the church tells us that you are the living bread. Can you tell us what does it mean when you said, "I am the bread of life, and he who comes to me shall never hunger. He who believes in me will never thirst," in John 6:35. So why does the church calls it Sunday of the Living Bread?
Well, to understand the living bread, there's a couple things that we should talk about to help us understand that. And the first is that man should not live on bread alone. And the second is that through communion with me, you can be closer to me spiritually and be united with me. And so when we talk about that man should not live on bread alone, we need to think back a long way back to when I let my people out of Egypt. Back then, they were in the wilderness. They were alone, and I was with them, but they were very scared, and they were hungry, most importantly. And because I had compassion on them, and because I loved them so much, I sent them manna from heaven. Manna is this delicious sweet bread. I made it myself. And so when I gave them the manna, they ate it, but they were eating it only to satisfy their physical bodies. It was just food like any other food that we eat today. So it only satisfied their hunger, but it didn't give them anything spiritually. Now, you are all children of God, which means you should be eating something more than just physical food. And that's where the living bread comes in. It is a bread that satisfies not only some physical need of food, but also the spiritual need to be close and united with me.
Jesus, this is so exciting. I didn't even know that there is a special food. I thought the cereal that we eat every day and, the breakfast and lunch, and mommy gives me the vegetables and the fruits that I have to eat to give me the special vitamins, and that's all I needed. So can you tell us what is special about that living bread, and how can we get this special bread that's going to make us not just strong
Of course.
physically, but we'll also be strong spiritually?
Well, of course, all those vitamins and stuff that your mother gives you are very, very important. But there is more to that. So before my resurrection, there was a very thick wall of sin that was separating me and you, so that I wasn't able to have a close interaction with you like I wanted to, because you're my creation. But we have to remember, back in Good Thursday, that was a very, very special day for me. Good Thursday was the day where I went up to the upper room, and I had all my disciples sit down in front of me, and I broke bread for them. And I gave them all bread, and I gave them all wine to drink. And I told them that this isn't just normal bread. This isn't just the food that you've been eating for your entire lives. This is my body, and this is my blood that I give to you now. And that was the first time ever that any one of my creation was able to be very close with me, be able to have a real connection with me. And that was what we call the Eucharist, which is the communion that we eat in church. The next day was a very important day too. That was Good Friday. On that day, that was the day where I died on the cross. And on that day, I didn't just give them the bread and the wine as my body. I gave them my living body and my living blood as a sacrifice on the cross. And as I hung there on the cross, and I gave up my spirit, that wall of sin that separated me and you for so long was finally broken. And the last day, on Sunday, when I rose from the dead, that was the day where I was finally able to defeat Satan and be able to truly be with you as I am today. And that is why we celebrate it so much.
So that's so interesting, Jesus. Now I know why the church changes the hymns from Jesus fasted 40 days, 50 hours, now that you have risen from the dead, that you died and you raised.
It's a very, very joyous day. And so we like to say it like that.
That's great. So what you're telling us, Jesus, that when we go in the church and take your body and blood of Christ, it's actual body and blood of Christ.
Yes.
It's not just a piece of bread that we
Nope,
can
not
break.
anymore.
That's fabulous.
Yep. Whenever you take communion, you're not just eating a bread like you would at any restaurant or anything. You're eating a piece of me, a part of me, to be with you spiritually. So whenever you take communion, you are truly being united with me in spirit.
So if we believe in you, just like you said last Sunday, and we go to church and we take communion, which is the body and the blood of you that you shed for us on that cross, we will be living forever.
Exactly
spiritually.
That. Whenever you take my communion and you believe in me and you have faith in me and you abide by my words, then you are truly with me and you are united with me, and you will never hunger or thirst again spiritually.
So now I understand why on Holy Thursday you created for us the Eucharist sacrament. So when we go to church and we take communion, we shouldn't just be going in as a restaurant. We should go with all respect because you died for us.
Yes.
And when we take it, we should be filled with spirit.
Yes, whenever you take your communion, you should prepare yourself to receive a very, very important piece of me, because that's the closest I can ever be with you. When you take the body, you are not only strengthening your spirit, but you're helping yourself fight against Satan's temptation. And that's something that we can only get every now and then. It's very, very special.
Yeah, and now that the church is closed, we miss you. We miss taking the communion.
And I miss you guys taking communion as well. And I can't wait for all of us to resume doing that.
But you also said that, it's not just bread that goes in and out of our body. It goes in and it's living. So
Exactly.
Even though the church is closed and even though we're not taking communion from the church, you're still in us. You still died for us on the cross, and you were risen from the dead, and you should be happy. Should be celebrating this and looking forward to that
Even though
moment.
we're not able to take communion right now, I am no farther from you than I was whenever we were taking every week. I'm still with you. Like you said, it's more than just bread. It's me with you spiritually. And so all of you need to remember that even though you can't take communion every week right now, I'm still with you just as I was whenever you could do that.
That's great, Jesus. So just before you leave us, can you tell us, I know you spoke to your disciples. Would you like to tell us anything, any statements from what you told your disciples, to the children, to me?
Yeah, of course. There was if I can remember correctly, there was a great thing I told my disciples. I told them that I am the bread of life, and that he who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst. And that was John 6:35. And that's a wonderful thing to remember for this time, that all you have to do is be with me, come to me, and to believe in me, and you will never hunger and you will never thirst again spiritually.
That's great. I would really like to memorize this verse.
Of course.
Children, do you want to memorize that verse with me? So we're going to say it right after you, Jesus. Do you mind?
Of course, of course.
All right, let's
So
do it.
we'll split it up together so we can get used to it.
All
So
right.
let's start with, I am the bread of life.
I am the bread of life.
He who comes to me shall never hunger,
He who comes to me shall never hunger,
and he who believes in me shall never thirst.
and he who believes in me shall never thirst.
And that is John 6:35.
That's John 6:35. Can we repeat that again,
Yes,
Jesus?
yeah, let's repeat that. So we'll shorten the bits a little bit so we can get better at this. So the first part is, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger,
I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger.
And I am, and he who
And he who comes to, and he who believes in me,
shall never thirst. And that is John 6:35.
and he who believes in me shall never thirst. John 6:35.
Awesome. All together now. So, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst. John 6:35.
All right, let's get that. I'm going to say
Sure.
it strong, Jesus. And I think
You got it,
all
you
the
got it.
kids out there will also say it with me, and they're going to be happy about saying that, because now that they have that living bread and that you died for us, they should be happy, strong, and saying it proud, with a proud voice. I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst. John 6:35.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love that verse. It really gives my kids a good reminder of exactly how they can be close to me and what it means to be close to me.
Thank you, Jesus, for coming here and for telling us about your body and blood that you shed for us on the cross. Now we will listen to our song very early Sunday morning. But during the song of very early Sunday morning, I want you guys to have all the parts and the pieces that we will need for our Sunday craft. And we're gonna have a surprise with us. So listen, stay tuned, and I can't wait to do our daily craft with you guys.
Very early Sunday morning, very early Sunday morning, very early Sunday morning, Jesus is risen. Very early Sunday morning, while the people were asleep, Jesus is risen, declaring, He's the Lord of heaven and earth. Jesus is risen, declaring, He's the Lord of heaven and earth. Resurrection is my song. Resurrection gave me life. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive.
Jesus is risen in glory, heaven and earth sang and praised, and the angel told the story. He is risen as he said, and the angel told the story. He is risen as he said.
Resurrection is my song. Resurrection gave me life. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive.
Mary Magdalene was looking in the garden for her Lord, while Jesus himself was telling her to go and spread the word. While Jesus himself was telling her to go and spread the word.
Resurrection is my song. Resurrection gave me life. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive.
All the disciples were praying, they were really in great fear, when Mary came to them saying, He He is risen, He is not here. And Mary came to them saying, He is risen, He is not here. Resurrection is my song. Resurrection gave me life. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive. While they were in the room, Jesus Christ Himself appeared. My peace I give to you, and my peace with you I leave. My peace I give to you, and my peace with you I leave. Resurrection is my song. Resurrection gave me life. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive. Jesus, my victorious Lord, conquered the powers of Hades, and the throne of death He broke. My salvation He declared, and the thorn of death He broke. My salvation He declared. Resurrection is my song. Resurrection gave me life. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive. The heavenly hosts were singing, welcoming our glorious Lord, and the joy is overwhelming. He opened the doors of hope, and the joy is overwhelming. He opened the doors of hope.
Alleluia, alleluia, risen is the Lord of peace. Alleluia, alleluia, surely He is risen indeed. Alleluia, alleluia, surely He is risen indeed. Resurrection is my song. Resurrection gave me life. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive. Resurrection made me strong. Jesus, my Lord, is alive. Very early Sunday morning, Jesus is risen.
Tea Time on CYC. Today we're talking about social media.
How you see yourself, not just on the outside, but like also on the inside.
What's the end result? That we show our faith in action, and we said when we do that, we're showing Christ's love and we're showing Christ to others.
Complimenting like people, like not just about their appearance, because like appearance isn't everything, but also about like their personality and how like they deal with people.
Is it bad if I have feelings towards someone?
It's like an act of kindness, and it shows how much like we love Christ and how He loves us.
Thank you for watching Teen Time.
Mental health and why it's so important.
Mutual communication between those two people.
We are going to speak about how to set healthy boundaries between mothers and daughters.
Mental health is almost equivalent, if not more important than physical health.
Having a problem is just so heavy and weight on us.
It's not just about friendship.
Push myself to learn more about Christianity, why we believe what we believe, why we do what we do.
If you can't talk about it, you can't get over it.
Our priests are wonderful leaders. They are very strong spiritual leaders.
Welcome back, boys and girls. This is our craft time, which is, I know it's a very exciting time for me and for everybody. And it's a time not just to do a craft, It's time to put what we learned and what Jesus told us through a craft, through our talents, through everything that he gave us. So I told you before the break that we're gonna have a surprise. And the surprise today is Mr. Luke. Hi, Mr. Luke.
Hi, it's so good to see you all today.
We miss you.
Yes, I miss all of you guys too. It's getting lonely without seeing you guys every week, but I'm very happy to be here today.
You just missed Jesus. Didn't you see him walking out?
What? Jesus was here?
Jesus was here.
I was in traffic and... Well, next time tell me when Jesus comes here so I can see him, okay?
Yeah, because he's been talking to us. He talked to us last time, and he's going to talk to us. He talked to us this time as well, and he told us that he is the bread of life.
Well, he certainly is. I wish I could have been there for that talk.
So, yeah, he was amazing. We loved having him in our Sunday school class. Next time we'll invite you. So, our craft today, we needed your help, of course, because the kids miss your voice, and they want you to help us through it as well. So, kids, before the break, I asked you to have 2 pieces of paper. It doesn't matter what color. It would be better if they're white. But then I forgot to tell you that we need an extra piece of paper. If you have a construction paper, that would be great. If you don't, that's fine as well. Glue, maybe a pencil, a pen, something to draw with, and a scissor. So with the first piece of paper, we're gonna fold it in half. You see that, Mr.
Yeah,
Rose?
I do see that.
And we're gonna draw this on here, and then like this, which is half of the cup.
Oh, it's the chalice that we hold the blood in.
The chalice.
Oh.
Mr. Luke, you're very smart.
Thank you. I know
Did
big
you
words.
eat all your vegetables and fruits
I absolutely did, and I took all my vitamins as well.
Yeah, because Jesus told us that we have
He
special
did?
food.
Well, that does sound like Jesus.
Yeah, he told us he's going to give us special food, which is his body and blood of Christ that we take through the communion. So, girls and boys, we're going to go ahead and start cutting what we drew. Make sure you're using a safe scissors. If you don't have safe scissors, please ask your mommy and daddy to cut it and help you through it. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and cut through this. And once you open it, Mr. Luke, it's gonna look like a cup.
It does look like a cup.
Like a chalice.
A chalice.
That's what it's called.
I guess so.
Okay, I learned something new today.
Big word.
So, we're gonna come on the construction piece of paper and we're gonna glue that.
Okay.
Use a glue stick or a regular glue. I do prefer a glue stick so it doesn't smudge all over the paper, Mr. Luke. And we're gonna close the glue so it doesn't dry. And we'll stick it right on the construction paper.
Looks very nice.
You like it? It's
I
the
do
chalice.
Like it. It's a chalice. It's the word of the day, chalice.
Chalice. All right, the second piece of paper, we're gonna fold it in half. And can you guess, Mr. Luke, what is it gonna be?
Well, if we have a chalice with the blood in it, I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be the body, maybe?
Yeah, let's see. It's gonna be the Urbana.
Oh, yes.
I miss eating it.
I absolutely miss eating it. How do you spell Urbana? Is it with an A or an O?
I have it with an O.
I always imagined it with an A. I'll have to ask
Is it
Abuna.
Arbana or is it Urbana? We might have to ask
I have to
Abuna.
ask Abuna for that.
All right, so we're gonna draw a semicircle. Make sure that it's not. We're not gonna cut that part that we folded.
Okay.
And kids, do you think it's with an A or an O? Are you gonna be on Team Mr. Luke or Team
I think
Mira?
Team Mr. Luke's a little better, guys. I mean, A's are just better than O's. I think so.
Okay.
See, Abuna is spelled with an A. It's not Obuna. So.
All right, we're gonna start cutting. Don't cut it through the end. And then maybe make it a little bit circular, like this. So it's gonna look like this. We're gonna open it up like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and glue it.
Okay.
It is the Urbana.
Yeah.
I think it's with an O still.
Still think it's with an A, but we'll ask Abuna later.
We'll ask Abuna.
Abuna.
All right, so then we're gonna put glue with the glue stick on here.
Yeah, that's about right. So it opens like a, yeah.
Can you guys write in the comments in the comment, there's a comment section. Write what you think, if it's an O or an A, Mr. Luke's team or Mr. Mira's team.
I better see a lot of A's in the comments, okay? If there are any O's, then I'm going to be very upset. But
And are you having fun with the craft? And if you need any help, please let us know in the comments. So you're going to see the Facebook link. You're going to see our link. You can go on there. So now it's going to look like this. We have the chalice.
Of course.
And we have the Urbana.
Of course.
All right. So we're going to pretty much put everything that Jesus told us, Mr. Luke, on our craft.
Yeah, so while we're doing that, why don't I tell you guys a little bit about what's on the Arban that you guys get.
So while Mr. Luke is telling us about the Urbana, we're going to take what he's telling us and I'm going to put it on the piece of paper. So first, we're going to talk about why the Urbana is circular. Mr. Luke, can you tell us?
Sure, of course you guys all know that Arban is circular. I mean, Abuna never gives you a square Arban. That would be very strange. So the reason it's circular is because just like a circle, God has no beginning or end. There's no corner to a circle, there's no edge, there's no starting place or ending place. It's a circle. It goes on forever and ever and ever, just like God.
All right, and I noticed, Mr. Luke, that in the Urbana there's a big cross in the middle.
Well,
Please draw a cross, guys, with a pen or a pencil or colors. Right in the middle, we're gonna draw a cross. Why is that cross, Mr.
Well, the
Luke?
cross is probably the easiest one for all of us to get. The cross, as we know, represents Jesus, the cross that Jesus died on for us. So the big cross in the center is the one that reminds us of Jesus and the sacrifice that he made for us.
All right, and then I also noticed that they're not just 4 holes, there's 5 holes. So we're gonna do 1 hole here, 1 dot here, and 1 dot there, 1 dot here, 1 dot there, and we're gonna put an extra dot right here. Why are there 5?
So 5 is a very, very intentional number. So the 5 holes on the Arban represent the 5 piercings that Jesus received on the cross. There are 2 holes for the holes on his hand. There's 1 hole for the hole in his feet. There's 1 hole for the spear in his side. And there's 1 hole for the crown of thorns on his head.
Wow, this is very detailed.
Very deliberate.
When he said, I am the bread of life, he really means it.
He really meant it.
Yeah. So after that, we're going to go ahead and put 12 crosses. What are these 12 crosses for? 1, 2, 3, 4. What can you tell us, Mr. Luke?
Yeah, well, the 12 crosses, like a lot of times in the Bible, when we hear 12, we can immediately think about the 12 disciples. And that's what they represent in this case. All 12 of the disciples are right there next to the big cross in the middle with Jesus, just as they are in heaven with him right now.
So they're the 12 disciples.
Yes.
Okay. And I noticed that a lot of our churches have like 12 poles inside of it, which is
12
also
poles.
12.
There's always the 12 icons on the top. We definitely like using 12 to represent the disciples.
That's great. And then we're going to write Holy Mighty. And in the middle, we're going to write holy God.
And then
holy immortal.
Now, it doesn't look exactly like this.
Of course.
Whenever you see it in church, because it's not in English, it's in Coptic, which is obviously what we use in church a lot. So we have these exact words, holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal, that are on the Arban, but they're in Coptic.
All right. Now we have, you missed it, Mr. Luke. Jesus, when he was here, he said a really nice verse that he told his disciples, and he helped us memorize it.
Okay, well,
I don't know if you know it or not.
I'm sure I do, probably.
He said, I am the bread of life.
Okay.
Can you help us with this?
Ooh, I do know this one.
Yeah.
I just heard it recently.
So while Mr. Luke is telling us about this, we're going to go ahead and unfold the Urbana, and we're going to write the first part of the verse inside.
So the first part of the verse.
Take another color. Sorry, Mr. Luke. Take another color. Okay.
Hopefully you guys remember this. I feel like you guys heard it recently. First line is, I am the bread of life.
So this is what we're going to write. I am the bread
of life.
Of life. Right. Okay.
What was it?
Mr. Luke, you forgot the verse?
Okay, you know, if only Jesus was here to tell me it, then I might have been able to hear it.
He who comes to... I know, I remember.
Okay, then tell me.
Kids, do you remember it? I remember it. He who comes to me, He
who comes to... Oh, no.
You remember it now? Okay.
It's all coming back to
He
me. He who comes to me shall never hunger.
He who comes to me shall never hunger. That's why we're going to put it, never hunger. All right, wait a second. And then we're going to go... And then we're going to go to the chalice, and we're going to write...
And the second part of the verse...
Okay, he who believes in me...
He who believes in me shall never thirst.
He who believes...
It's not fair, because Jesus didn't tell me, so, you know.
Shall never thirst. Do you remember the verse number, Mr. Luke?
Yes.
You do. So while he's telling us the verse number, we're going to write it right in the middle of the chalice.
The verse was John 6:35. See, I remember that one.
Wow.
I know,
John
right?
6:35. So.
That's a very beautiful picture.
You like it, Mr.
I
Luke?
love that.
Yeah. I can't wait until I go to church and I can have this. But
Yeah,
Jesus
we need to
also.
put this everywhere.
Yeah, and Jesus said he misses us too. But he also said that he is in us.
Of course, yes. It doesn't
Because
matter
we
that
believe in him.
Yes, of course. Even though that we're not able to take communion, I know that he would have said that he is still with us.
Yeah. So, boys and girls, now we have the Urbana. Has holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal, because that's our God. He's great. He's amazing. He died for us.
Mighty and immortal.
And then we have that big cross that resembles Jesus, and the 12 crosses which resembles the disciples. And then we have the 5 holes which resembles crown of thorns.
Holes in the hand.
The
2
crown
of
of thorns.
Yeah.
2
in the hands.
2 in the hands.
1 in the side.
1 in the side.
And 1 in the feet.
1 on the foot. I didn't know the feet. Both of them, right? Because they were together.
Yeah, but it was 1 piercing through both.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
1 piercing.
All right. Perfect. And then we have in the chalice, which I learned today, is going to be the blood of Christ.
Of course.
And inside of it is our verse that Jesus taught us. I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger. He who believes in me shall never thirst. John 6:35.
Wonderful verse.
I love it.
I love it too. I love the picture too.
Yeah, I like it. So now, boys and girls, you have an Urbana. Now you know that when we go inside of the church and we start taking communion again, that it is the true blood and body of Jesus Christ, just as he taught us. And he said, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst. John 6:35. Thank you, boys and girls. We really loved having you today.
Loved being here.
Thank you, Mr. Luke. And I can't wait to see you next time in our episode, Jesus as The Living Water at 1:30 on CYC. Please tell us your comments if you liked the episode, if there's anything that you guys want us to add. Thank you. See you again next time.